Real people, real stories, real f***ing life. The Relentless Project. And now, your host, the man on a mission to ignite your inner fire, Ish Lopez. So sit back, relax, and prepare to be inspired.
Well, here we are.
Yeah.
Long awaited. I appreciate you for jumping on. For those who don't know, this is Lucas Seibert, and we in this bitch. There. Now I got to make it explicit material. But we gotta address the elephant in the room, man. What happened at Sprawl in the Berg there? Do you realize what happened when you were competing against Gavin? Like, walk us up what led to the match, and then we'll get into what happened.
So there's like some backstory leading into it. I was supposed to fight Tanner for like a year. I had signed to fight him in April.
Like MMA fight.
Yeah. Just like an AME. It was supposed to be, I think, AME title at 145, and it fell through. And then, we just chirping at each other on social media and stuff. And I was like, kind of getting the better of him, just kind of like goofing with him. And then after I won my title in July, I was like, I think it's time we go pro. And then I hit Hunter up with the idea that I grapple Gavin, because Gavin has like an extensive grappling background.
3-time state champ or something.
Four times.
State
He's
champ.
like one of the most credentialed high school wrestlers of all time, like regardless of state, whatever. Super well-known dude. We're the same age. And like I knew him, I was like, that's a cool opportunity, right? I want to, get in the cage with him. Didn't really make sense to fight him at the time. He's pro. I wasn't necessarily ready to turn pro. And yeah, we grappled. And obviously like, there was backstory. There was kind of like, animosity leading into it. And like, I feel like 247 kind of knew that was going to happen, right?
Sells tickets, man.
It sells tickets.
Yeah, it sells tickets, views.
Yeah, and like, you put two people like me and Gavin in a cage, it's gonna get a little scrappy. We're clubbing each other hard and stuff. But yeah, I did hear about some extracurricular activities.
So for those who don't know, I'm gonna give my perspective. So I'm sitting there, a lot of matches on the card, a lot of interesting grappling matches and stuff. And I was there to see you. Obviously, we didn't talk before this. And I kind of knew a little bit about Gavin, but I knew he was a big deal. You're kind of a big deal. More so your like entertainment factor. Like matches are entertaining, but like when you can add that personality and stuff, when I saw you at Stout fights and you fucking front flipped into the mat, I'm like, all right, this dude's cool. Like, gotta have him on the pod. And then you're just cartwheeling your way out of shit. I'm like, it's entertaining. So obviously you're gonna bring some of that into this match. Like nothing changes, even though it may be more serious for you, whatever. But so I knew that coming in, and I'm sitting there, and I just see like a little commotion starting near the cage, and I run over there, and I guess some dude has spit on Mike, which probably the last dude you wanna spit on. And mind you, Mike is actively coaching you as you're going. So a lot of people are surrounding Mike. I'm like in there, no, I'm trying to be the mediator. I'm like, yo, y'all need to chill. Mike, you don't need a charge, because I don't know if they knew who Mike was, but so I'm separating one, and then one thing led to another. The dude's foaming at the mouth. Now he's got shit with me because I'm trying to like break shit up. Mind you, this match is still going. And then there's this other dude trying to storm the cage. Eventually, it's like this little security, and that's the most embarrassing part. This little security guy launched this dude off the ring. I don't think anyone saw that. As your guy's still going, the whole time Mike's like flipping off, still coaching you. I'm like, dude, it got crazy. It got crazy outside. But what were you aware? Shout out Christian. What's up, brother? You next. What was going on through your mind in the match? Like, did you realize that stuff was happening, or did you kind of like what was going on with you inside?
No, I was zoned in. I knew I didn't know anything was happening during the match, aside from the fact that like me and Gavin were kind of getting heated, but I could feel that and I wanted it to happen. I thought he would kind of get emotional and like make some stupid mistakes, but he didn't. He stayed really calm. He's a super high level competitor. But yeah, I didn't know anything was going on. I remember Gavin got in on a shot like early, and it was the first time I heard Mike's voice, and I was like, that's like, it was like a minute in, and I was like, okay. And he was trying to walk me through a high elbow because that was like part of the plan. It was like, all right, if you get him dry, you might be able to throw up some subs. That, in my opinion, was like kind of a thought process. And I'm not gonna, like, I wasn't gonna pull guard. So it kind of happened kind of how I wanted to, organically. Like, obviously you don't want to get taken down. And then I hear Mike, and but apparently Mike's flipping somebody off while he's coaching me. But yeah, it's all smoke and mirrors. It's over now. I actually squashed a beef with Gavin. Like, I texted him and stuff. I wanted to talk to him in the cage, but it's just like
shit broke out, man.
Yeah, it was crazy.
What people don't realize is, like, I mean, we were talking right before this. Like, you guys are in there. You're in this fight mode, this battle mode. Tensions are high. You know, the tension has been built until this match. You guys have competed, you know, and for some it may have not gone how they wanted, or you may have not gotten things you wanted to get, or whatever. Decision was made. Some folks didn't agree with it, obviously, because they tried to fight over it. But tensions are high, and now you have people outside the ring increasing this tension. Yeah. Like, what happened after the...
I remember I was supposed to do that, do like the post-fight interview, and I had like some fire I was about to spit out. And I just like, it's like a mix of like boos for me, boos for Gavin, applause for me. It was just loud. And then I look over and some woman's flicking me off, giving me double birds. And, you know, I mean, like, I don't want to say I regret it because, you know, you're in the moment. But I'm just like, and I throw them back. And I'm like, you know, that's not who I am. I'm not going to flick a woman off. But, you know, that's how it is.
It's in the moment.
And yeah, you're in the moment, and then, you know, it works. Use it for content and stuff later. It's kind of fire. And then some dude tries to jump the cage. It was a wild time, but that's how it goes, bro. That's how it goes, man. It was fun. It was fun. I'll tell you one thing. It was fun as hell.
So you and Gavin good now after that?
Yeah, we're straight. Squashed it.
Dude, it's funny. Like, the social media aspect is in it. I was like following it, and you don't miss with content. You don't miss with content.
Yeah, they shouldn't have like engaged with me much, because as soon as they would, it was like
it's like a fish. And I used to be that way too, man. And it's got me in a lot of shit. So I've kind of slowed down, but it's like bait, right? You throw it out, as soon as a fish hits it, you're like, got it.
Yeah,
that's the same thing with especially in the fight world. Like, you see like, in MMA and UFC and Bellator, like, guys chirp, and as soon as that other person entertains it, it's like, it's on.
Yeah, and like, you know, something I've always kind of been good at is, you know, chirping. Grew up that way. Like, you gotta have something, and gotta always have some kind of comeback, and yeah.
Well, man, I'm looking forward to more. So let's talk about who is Lucas. Let's go back. How long have you been in the grappling?
So
MMA stuff.
I started wrestling. I would have been 4th grade, so however old you are in 4th grade. And then I was like super into football when I was a kid. Like, loved. I could have told you every quarterback for every team. I like basketball, big LeBron fan. I'm from Ohio, and
sorry to hear that.
Yeah, grew up like 10 minutes from Ohio State, so like Ohio State football was like my thing. Loved that too. But I started wrestling because like I was the smallest. Like, I couldn't play football. Like, I was too small. I weighed like 60 pounds in 6th grade. And like I started wrestling. My first year I was like too emotional. My dad was like, I'm not letting you compete. Like, I would lose and be crying. I'd be winning and crying. So he was like, I'm not letting you compete the first year. And then competed in my first tournament when I was in like 5th grade. I was like a 50-50, maybe under 50-50 kid. 6th grade I started to get a little bit better. 7th grade I started to get like good. And then 8th grade I was solid, but I was putting in like extra work. Like, I was doing like clubs and stuff with, you know, really high level people. And get to high school, and it was kind of just like, I started as a freshman because I was like one of the smaller guys. and then just started to progressively. I've just always kind of been on like a constant get better, get better, get better, get better. And by my senior year, I had a lot of like sophomore and junior year. I was actually like supposed to place at the state tournament. I was ranked like 5th or 6th, and I kind of just shit the bed. Like had like the worst performance anxiety on earth, and just like did terrible. And at the district tournament, didn't even qualify for the state tournament. Senior year, I qualified for states, finally. I was a 2-time state alternate. Senior year, I qualify and go 0-2. And was like, I felt like I was better than just being a Division III wrestler. I wasn't really sure if I wanted to go to college. I didn't have good grades. But like, I started to like think about it, and I was like, well, what else am I going to do? Go work construction.
Blue collar?
That was my only other option. I ain't like, I ain't pinching numbers. And like I had a learning disability, pretty like I'm not good with like numbers, not like good with my words, like. And I was like, all right, well, I go to college and wrestle. I can keep wrestling. So I wasn't gonna go D3. Just in my head, like I just felt like, not that I was better than that, but like I always just strive to do the hardest thing. You know what I mean? So I walked on at WVU. I had a couple other options. They ended up falling through. WVU accepted me because they had this coach that was formerly at Edinburgh. His name's Tim Flynn. And he was coming to WVU, so he was taking like anybody to kind of like develop them. And he was taking anybody. I came in at the right time. I was the first visit he had. It was like me and like 10 other kids. None of them ended up committing. But I ended up committing like the next day. And then I ended up being a walk-on at WVU.
How was that? I mean, wrestling. So first off, how was, I mean, you said you were doing really well like at the young age, and then you reached that point where you were like, you said you didn't feel you were competing well, right? Like you kind of did you hit a wall? Or
it was like performance anxiety.
Performance
I had like
anxiety?
really, really, really bad performance anxiety.
How did you, because obviously you're fucking performing now.
Yeah.
How did you manage that? Like, do you think wrestling kind of helped you?
I think
build off that, or
I think a couple things. I think one, competing at the highest level, and then two, I have a degree in sports psychology. That's what I got my degree in, because I was so attracted to it, because I had a personal kind of like I remember I remember being the kid that like failed, like crying at the districts because I just shit the bed. Like I couldn't perform against. I had one match. You know what a tech fall is in wrestling? It's like a mercy rule.
Okay.
Right. So if
when does that kick in?
When you're up by 15 points, when you're beating somebody's ass so bad that they're like, all right, this kid don't have a chance to come back. It's
kind of like in football. After 35, just let the clock run.
We're gonna call the match. It's like in kids, like if they're playing flag football and it's 70-0, like they're calling the game. That's what it is in wrestling. I teched a kid one time at the sectional tournament in the finals, beat him like 17-2. Next week, I go and I wrestle him, and he beats me to qualify for the state tournament. I was literally 16 points better than this dude last week. But when the stakes came, I lost.
When you put a title on something, it's crazy how that happens in life too, right?
Yeah.
People do things every day. It's their habit. And then it's like, all right, that stuff you've been doing, let's just show the world. Boom. You don't have to change anything.
Yeah.
But as soon as like there's a limelight on it, then you can shit the bed. Same with like in education, right? You do your homework, you're researching, All right, everything you've done, let's present it now. And then you have kids in the front of the class who are like, it's like, dude, you know what you're talking about. You know what you've just researched it all semester. Yeah. All you gotta do is tell us about it. And they're up there. So I mean, I get it, because I was that kid.
Yeah.
You know, I have performance anxiety for other people now, where like I see them performing or not, and I'm like, bro, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? I start freaking out. But
it's funny you say that, because I remember like strategically kind of setting, like when I was in high school or even in college, like I would tell the group, I would be like, I'll talk. I'm gonna be honest, didn't do my fair share of the work. But I was like, all right, well, I can tell that you like can't, so I'm gonna put myself in the fire. Like, just because like I knew it would long term benefit me. Like, that's like I would constantly like do little things like that because I knew when I was like super scared of public speaking, so I would I would do it on purpose. I would be like, all right, I gotta public speak. Like, I would tell my group project, I'd be like, all right, well, you know, I didn't really like cut my work on the group project. Like, I'll just do like most of the public speak, and I would usually do fairly well, especially because like I was used to it because I would always do it. But like little stuff like that,
doing hard things, man. Like, people don't realize every time you do something hard or something tough or something out of your comfort zone, how much that can benefit you in the long run. And I always do stuff like that in the sense and in everything, right? Like, you know, when I can take the stairs, I take the stairs.
Yeah.
You know, when I won't take the elevator, I park a little further than most people.
Yeah.
You know, little stupid stuff like that. And it's stuff that I've always heard people say.
Yeah.
And I'd always like, that's dumb. Like, if you need to go into a store, why not just park in the closest spot? You're going to save time.
Yeah.
So you can do other things. What are the other things you're doing? Nothing. That 5-minute walk it's not going to change your course of life. Yeah, but when you compare it in the long run, it actually benefits you because you're going to not take shortcuts. You're going to not. And that public speaking stuff was the same way for me, man. Like, I went to college at the Penn State University. What's up? We can fight about it after. No, I don't want no smoke. And I had to take a public speaking class. That was part of my gen ed or whatever. And I remember thinking like, dude, there's no way I'm ever passing this class. I fucking hate talking to people. Now look, I love talking to people.
Yeah,
but it's crazy how things. But
dude, yeah, I love that. I call it self-sabotage, but like on purpose. Like, I think like a lot of people like think of the like self-sabotage and like, you know, I lose that match when I was in high school, right? You kind of self-sabotage, have a bad performance. But like, if you can do it strategically, like it can be like the most beneficial thing on earth.
Yeah, if you can self-sabotage in a way that will build you after.
Yeah.
Like, if you lose and quit, final self-sabotage.
Yeah.
But if you can use that to build yourself,
yeah,
dude, there's no limit to what you can achieve. It sounds corny, but it's true.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
And if you can do it strategically, hey, hashtag strategically self-sabotage.
Yeah.
S. Yeah, we just figure something out. Make it a t-shirt.
I'd have to write that down.
Yeah. But so wrestling and all that. When did you get into jiu-jitsu? What made you get into jiu-jitsu from wrestling? Because
so I always liked MMA. Like, I grew up playing with like UFC action figures, right? Actually, ironically, like I had like a bunch of UFC action figures, but I had one that was Mark Coleman. He's from Columbus. So my brother was like trying to get into jiu-jitsu. My brother Wyatt, he's my middle brother, 5 years older than me. And basically I was a college wrestler, and he's like, I can't have my little brother be able to beat my ass. So he's like, I'm gonna start getting into jiu-jitsu. We go to the local like gym, like we were looking up gyms in Columbus when I'm in the summer between my freshman and sophomore year. And we go to this gym called Immortal Martial Arts, and it's Matt Brown, the UFC fighter, has the most knockouts in UFC history. It's his gym. We pull up, and I don't know if this is the first day, second day, but we're doing a jiu-jitsu class, and all I knew was wrestle, and like I've seen a guillotine before.
Everywhere, man. Even if you don't fight.
I knew how to do a rear naked choke maybe. Like, we were just wrestling, and there's a picture of it. It's on my Instagram somewhere, and it's me, Johnny DeJulius, who wrestled at Ohio State, Matt Brown, my brother Wyatt, purple belt named Cam Sullivan, who's from Immortal. He's like super high level guy, and Mark Coleman. Mark Coleman walks in like halfway through practice, just screaming at us, being Mark Coleman, and it was like, I was like, what the fuck? And I remember like being like, this is crazy, but like also feeling like so accepted by like people that are like should be better than me, you know what I mean? And like that was the first time I was like, oh, like I wasn't starstruck at all. I was just like, this is cool as fuck. And I think it's like a martial arts thing. The more people I met in the martial arts world, it's like, you know, they accept you. And like if you coming into the gym, and like obviously I had a wrestling background and I could scrap a little bit, so like they were more accepting of me. But that was like the thing. And then when COVID happened, when I actually like decided I kind of wanted to fight MMA, COVID happened 2020. I just got back from Big 12s. You know, the world shuts down in March, and then like there was nowhere to wrestle. Like the high schools were closed. We had to go back home, and I was like, I'm gonna go to a Mortal Martial Arts, right, and learn jiu-jitsu. And I know they got a Matt there. Matt was running some underground fight team because of COVID, and
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. Yeah.
We don't know who's listening.
And he, you know, I remember like the first day, he was like, "Who here plans on fighting?" And everybody raised their hand. I was like, I guess me too. And then I met like one of my best friends now, Josh Pereira, who's a 2-0 pro. He was 0-1 as an amateur at the time. He had one fight, took on like a week's notice, Hawaiian dude, like scrapper. Takes it on a week notice. I met Josh Pereira. He's 0-1. Josh Pereira ended his amateur career at 7-1-1, and then now is pro and is 2-0. He's literally not lost since I met him. But that was in 2020, and like we just kind of like became like best friends every time I was in town, trained there, and then I took my first I took my debut fight. I would train in Morgantown when I was in college a little bit too, but yeah, took my debut fight like a month out of graduating.
What drew you to this stuff? Like, you got to be a certain kind of,
bro.
I don't want to say I'm crazy. Like, you got to be a certain mindset,
yeah,
to get into this stuff. You know what I mean? Because
yeah, bro. I think hey, I said it as a joke one time, and it was on like a dating app, and I sent it to my boy. I was like, "This funny as fuck." It was like some girl was like, "What makes you become an MMA fighter?" And I said, "Trauma." And I just thought it was
emotional.
I just
physical.
thought it was funny. I thought it was funny. Yeah, but I think it's like failing so much. Like you fail so much, and you're just like, well, I'm just gonna keep going. And then it was like I got to the point where it was like, why the fuck wouldn't I? Like why? Like I would regret not trying to be an MMA fighter. Like I got a degree. I was the first person in my family to ever get a degree.
Same, bro.
Yeah. So like I could use that, right? And I do. I worked for a company where I did sports psychology while I was in college. But I was like, something in me. I don't know what it is, but like I truly, and it sounds like I truly feel like I'm made to fight. Like I feel like that is my calling, which is like even when I wrestled, like I always like I get off the mat and I'd be like, yeah, but like if we fought, like I would have beat your ass. Like even in college, I was like I would lose to better people, and I'd be like, yeah, but if we fought, like I would have beat your ass. And
bro,
so,
I think and this is gonna be controversial, but the world is boiled down to violence, or the potential for violence. Like what keeps, and that's why I think the MMA world is so humble.
Yeah,
and the majority is so humble. You meet dope people, like you create a brotherhood and a sisterhood and a camaraderie like no other, because of the potential for violence. Yeah. And you guys share that. You share those experiences. And what's stopping someone from going into the street and just smacking someone? Like what's stopping them?
Yeah, I mean the law, like
but
the
law,
potential of the law,
the punishment, right?
Yeah,
the punishment. But if the guy coming or the girl coming to punish you, you knew 100% they were inept, they couldn't do anything.
Yeah,
would that really stop you?
Yeah, not really.
It's violence, bro.
Which is violence is, and it's a scary thing. But I think like you're talking about with like
controlled violence. Like I'm saying like
yeah. I think a lot of it's like your fight or flight response is just like, I think fighters kind of, if you're always in a fighter state, like if you train all the time, you're just not violent. Like I would rather spend my time like loving or, you know, being chill or like, you know, like calling my people, talking to my mom. Like, I'm not trying to just like walk in somewhere and like raise hell because like
Because of the potential for violence, you know.
I spend and I get all that out, right? And I think a lot of other people, it just build up, right? And it's made to like any other emotion. Like, you have all the emotions for a reason, right? You have anger for a reason. You have sadness for a reason. You have all of it. And if you don't have a way of like dispersing it or getting rid of it, channeling it, then it's gonna come out at a bad time.
That's a good point. I was an angry kid, man. I grew up humble beginnings, you know, Lower East Side, didn't grow up single mom, you know, and I fought every day.
Yeah.
I thought that's I needed to do. Someone called me a name, you disrespected me. Fight.
Yeah.
Like, always fought. Started to learn how to fight, got into MMA, I wasn't really structured jiu-jitsu, but like I would roll with a guy, but mostly striking, boxing, and stuff like that. And once I found myself in a cage with people who can fucking really hurt me.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, man, like,
Humbles you.
Yeah, it really humbles you. And I started fighting less.
Yeah.
You know?
Same thing.
Started fighting less. People would call me a name and I'm like, all right, cool, bro. Like, you got me.
Yeah,
like,
dude. It's the same thing. What for me is like, I grew up like as a kid, I was like I grew up in like the suburbs. I went to like a more like I was like the white kid that was like, people would fuck with me.
You're white?
People would fuck with me and I would just be like, I was a small kid too, and I would just be like, you know, fuck you. Like if you're gonna talk shit to me, like, fuck you.
Double birds, bro.
Yeah. And like I grew up, you know, just a chip on my shoulder because I was a little bit smaller, shit like that. And then like, you know, as I got older, it like continued a little bit. And then like, you know, I once I actually learned how to fight though, because even when I was in college, you know, you go out, you got a little alcohol in you, like people fuck with you, and you're gonna, you know, make mistakes. But like as I got older and I actually learned how to fight, one, I was like, dude, I'm terrified of like, you know, what if like somebody gets hurt or something, and two, like there's no fucking point. Like what
do you gain?
Gonna get in a fight here, both get kicked out, like shit like that. And which is funny now because like I haven't been out in fucking months, like, and don't plan on it, just that past that scene. But like, you know, I think that's one thing that like fighting does do is like, if you're active, if you're training constantly, it's like you don't want to fucking go get in a fight on the street, bro.
Yeah, what do you gain? You win, right? And you hurt this person.
Yeah.
Or two, you lose and get hurt for no reason. You didn't get paid. You didn't get a belt.
Or win and get hurt, bro. You don't got. Yeah.
Like, why?
Yeah. Maybe if you could be like, yo, let me wrap my hands. You sign this contract. Let me put this mouthpiece in. Well, I figured that out. I have something now.
Let's fucking record it.
If we got beef, we can, you know, sign a contract. We'll wrap our hands, make sure they don't break, put a mouthpiece in.
Yeah, and then we'll put a little hurting on each other. And after.
Yeah, we'll end up being cool. Honestly, bro, all my friends, you know, in high school, all that stuff, like, if we fought, I probably ended up closer with you. Like, I probably fought all my best friends at some point.
So two of my closest friends.
Yeah.
It was like Tony, my buddy Tony from Erie. When I first met him, dude, farted on my bench at the gym. I wanted to fucking murder this dude, bro.
Yeah.
I'm like, who the fuck is this dude? Who does he think he is? This happens every time. The lights just went up. Last time we didn't explain it.
We should have brought a ball and threw it up in the air.
But whatever.
It's not that bad.
Yeah. And I'm like, who the fuck is this dude think he is? Mind you, the dude's built like a Roman statue, and I was 130 pounds.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, if I could, I would fucking rock you, dude. And we got into an argument, whatever, and that was it. And then now he's one of my closest friends.
Yeah.
My fucking dude I'd die for, Nico, in college, we were neighbors, and some drama happened. We didn't really talk to each other, but like some person was like, oh, he said he'd do da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
And then they were telling him, oh, he said da-da-da-da. Mind you, I came from like streets. Like,
yeah.
I'm like, you tell that dude to fucking show up and what's up. And we can deal with it. And I'm walking into the dorm. He's throwing a football. And he looks at me and goes, yo, you want to play flag football? I'm like, you want to fucking die.
Yeah, he's like, we ain't playing flag football.
I'm like, this is
We
it.
fighting.
And my buddy's like, yo, nah, don't do it here. I'm like, nah, I gotta go. We meet up at a party. We end up squashing everything. I'm like, yo, you said. He's like, nah, this is what you said. I'm like, I think we've been bamboozled.
Yeah, bro. People do that. That's crazy. That like people like put their energy into just like that bullshit. I just don't get it.
Didn't work. That's gonna look funny. But yeah, what do you gain?
I don't know, man. I don't get it. And like even having beef, like I said, I squash my beef with T's. I don't want to say I don't have any beef. Like I have beef with some people, right? Or like people have beef with me is more what it is.
Yeah.
And like, but like I will, if I have a problem with somebody or somebody has a problem with me, more or less, like I will put my best effort to squash that beef one time.
That's fair.
I'll give you one, like, yo, like here's my perspective on it. Like I understand your perspective, and I'll give you like the one time. Like, and I think that's everybody deserves like, you know, a one time second chance, right? And like, you know, if we make amends and then you do it again, we can do it, like, you know. But like if you don't accept that one time, and like I will put my best effort, I'll be the bigger man in a sense. But like, you know, I think everybody deserves that. And like if you know, don't take it, then you don't take it, and we can remain having a beef. But like it's, for the most part, it's a one-way street with me.
That's how I try to live my life now, especially as we older. You like, I'll put, like I said, I try to get along with everybody. I try to be cool with everybody. I think you can learn. That's the whole purpose of this podcast. You can learn from anybody.
Yeah.
Like anyone, you can learn something, even if it's what not to do or what not to say or how not to go about something.
Yeah.
You can always learn from something.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And if you're trying to learn from every experience, dude, you can think about the type of person you can be, you know? Like from launching this podcast, I've had people reach out and they're like, dude, can I be on? Like I got so much to say about this. And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Like I'm gonna fit you in somewhere, but like absolutely. Because I've never spoken to you. I don't know who you are.
Everybody's got a story, bro.
Everyone's got a story to tell.
Everybody's
dude.
got a cool story too, like from anything. Like you don't got to be a fighter. It's like everybody's got a cool story. Like, oh, what led you to be a mechanic? Yeah. Right? Like just little things, right? And everything's based on the decisions you make, and like in turn how it works out, and like, you know what I mean? Like everybody has a cool story too.
I agree. And it's like if you can, people have a passion, right? And this is my passion.
Yeah.
Why? Like, where'd you get that from? How? Like, what? Like, I love learning why people's brain works the way it can be a mechanic, it could be a chef, it can be. I just happen to be surrounded by fighters and shit, and they're the ones who are willing to jump on and be like, yeah, dope. I got a story to tell. Let's go. Yeah. It's like that's what, you know. Hopefully, I don't lose people because they're like, oh, all he's doing it. No, dude. Anybody's willing to jump on. I'm willing to talk to anybody, man. I had a good friend of mine who started a nonprofit. Like he came in, like he offers scholarships to city kids to go to college. I'm like, where did your brain go for that? Like I'm all about that, man. And if you can learn, if I can learn too, I'm learning from these conversations too. I see High Fly. I call you High Fly if you don't know that.
High Fly.
Yeah. I see High Fly Lucas, you know, but like you got so much. There's so many layers. Yeah. You know, like you're talking to me, and I'm like, yeah, this dude's kind of deep. Yeah. Kind of deep.
Yeah, I feel like people like look at me and they're just like, this kid's cocky as shit, dog. Like, which like if I saw me for the first time
on social media,
I'd be like, this kid's super cocky. And then you find out like, oh, it all comes from the fact that he had like performance anxiety when he was a kid.
Yeah, and he's finally dealt with it. And now this is his
it out, which made me like in turn made me who I am. Like now I like my confidence isn't fake. You know what I mean? Like for a lot of people, it's like, you know, it's fake. It's like, I earned this shit. Like I earned the right to be confident, not even through like hard work. Like everybody, like I failed my way to being confident.
Failed your way to success.
Yeah. But that's what it is, bro. You fail your way to success. Yeah. You just fail. And then it shit just starts to like, you know, just, that's actually my favorite quote on it. And
famous quote. Dude, I haven't said that in a while. Famous quote. Hit it.
My favorite quote on her, it's Muhammad Ali. It's let me think. It's the repetition of affirmations that lead to self-belief. And once that belief becomes a deep conviction, things begin to happen. That's what it is. Yeah, I got it. That's perfect. That's what it is.
Hold on, you're gonna have to say that again.
It's the repetition of affirmations that lead to self-belief. Once that belief becomes a deep conviction, things begin to happen. I have it, it's on my Instagram somewhere.
Whew.
And I used to, like, when I was a kid, I would save quotes, right? And I would be like, what's this mean? What's this mean? I had no fucking idea what that shit meant when I was 12 years old.
What's it mean to you now?
What it means, I'll break it down. So it's a repetition of affirmations, right? That means you have to constantly talk to yourself, be positive, right? You are your thoughts, so you have to think highly of yourself, right? Once that belief becomes a deep conviction, so once you actually start to believe
what you're saying
what you're saying to yourself, you actually think of yourself in a high regard. You actually think you're, somebody, or, striving to be somebody. Shit starts to happen, right? And like some of that shit might be you doing, like, you having success. Some of it might be things like opportunities that you're like, bro, how did I get that? Right? Like, I've had so many opportunities where, like, I'm almost like in awe, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready for that. And then I take it and I'm like, guess I was, right? And like, I think it comes from that self-belief, right? You have to believe in yourself, but it can't be fake. And to get that self-belief, it takes a certain level of, like, affirming yourself, right? Being like, yo, like, you are like that person. Like, you've put yourself in the fire constantly.
Well, they say, like, a lot of like motivational speakers, they say first thing you should do, look at yourself in the mirror.
Yeah.
Tell yourself it's about to be a good day. You're about to have good training, whatever. Like,
yeah.
And that's that affirmation you got to tell yourself. And I do that. Like, I'm a believer. I'm a Christian. I pray, and then I pray for things I want, things I need, but whatever His plan is for me. And I look at myself in the mirror, like, today's about to be a good day. Like, even driving here, I'm like, this is how I envision the conversation going with Lucas. Like, I want to talk about this. Like, I want to hit on this.
Yeah.
This is what I envision him saying. Like, I think it's going to be a good conversation. We're going to hit it off. It's going to be dope.
Yeah.
Then you come here, you're talking, and then you start to, like, see it play out as it was in your head.
Yeah.
And that's that secondary affirmation. And you're like, man, this is going well. It's going
kind of manifest stuff.
It's manifesting. It's happening.
Yeah.
It's the same with, like, fighting, or the same with going to school, or same with that job, right? Like, I see myself as top accountant.
Yeah.
I got to get with this law firm. I got to get with this company. You take the interview. This is how the interview's going to go. I'm going to sit there tall, proud. I'm going to talk about myself. I like it. They give you the second interview. You're like, oh, man.
And that what that is like, you're not, like, it's not, you don't necessarily have to be in the mirror to give yourself affirmations. You can do it from,
shower.
Thoughts like that. Yeah, thoughts in the shower, shit like that. But like manifesting, dude, that is so real. I remember the first time I used like manifestation, and like it worked to a T. And I walked on a WVU. I was a freshman, and I was fourth, fifth string. I don't even know. And I was like, there ain't no way I'm ever gonna start. Like, my whole freshman year, I tried to quit like multiple times. Luckily, I had some people around me that were like, don't. And I've never quit anything, so I don't know if I would have. Actually, one time I went in to go quit, and like we were having an end of the year meeting. I went in and I was talking to my coach, and I'm like telling him like, yeah, man, like I suck at school. Clearly, he was like, yeah, I know, and like I was just like, man, I think I'm just go home and work construction, do this, that, and the other. And I swear this man heard zero what I said and was like, that's fucking stupid. And I was just like,
you're right. Like, damn.
Yeah,
right.
And he just continued to go. But my sophomore year, so I was supposed to be probably like third string, and I was behind some people that were like good, and I was like, I just kept like envisioning running out for a home duel meet, just my song playing. I was TJ Dillashaw was one of my favorite fighters, so Can't Stop was my walkout song in college, and I would envision it playing while I would run out for my home duel meet, and things happen, right? Things begin to happen, right? You start to affirm yourself, right? You're doing the right things. You're thinking the right things. You are what you think you are. and things begin to happen. And then a couple people, like maybe somebody redshirted, and then 2 people quit, and then I end up wrestling off third spot and I win it. And then I remember being in the back and being like, I've been here before. Because I thought of it 1,000 times. And I was like, oh, I've been here before. And then the song played and I ran out. And I was just like, and like, I didn't win. But like, I remember, but I was like, that was the first time I was like, yo, I can do this. And then now it's starting to get fucking weird. Like I can do it to like a very like specific things, and starting to get to the point where like I'll envision like combinations I hit in fights, and then I'll do it, and I'm just like,
been there before.
Yeah, I'm like,
bro,
yo, that's crazy.
Dude, that's wild.
Yeah, and I think like it's just that deep conviction. It becomes rooted in your body, so it expresses out when you're.
I'm gonna start saying
fire.
that to myself. I've been there before.
Yeah, I've been here. Yeah, bro.
Bro, that's crazy. Like, I don't think you understand what you just did to me.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there like, man, where do I want to be? I got to start picturing that shit.
Yeah,
so
bro.
when I get there, I can been there before.
Yeah, and you like, it becomes like familiar. Like it's like you have this certain level of comfort. Because if I imagine it all the time, right? If I imagine the walkout, if I imagine the negative feelings, the negative thoughts I'm gonna have, like, oh, what if this dude beats me in front of fucking everybody? Like, oh, I've been talking shit about this dude for months. Like, what if he just embarrasses me? If I imagine those negative thoughts, when those negative thoughts happen and I'm actually in the cage, like, oh, I've already had it. I know how to address them. No, I'll be cool. Right? I'll just stay calm, right? So when you imagine everything, when you're kind of like run through it, right? What's worst case scenario? All right, let's say I get knocked out. All right, I get knocked out, I'll be all right. Right? Somebody will wake me up, right? Or let's say, and that's accepting like absolute worst case scenario, but let's say we're in a fight, I get clipped. I'm like, all right, I get clipped, I'm gonna show up, try to get a hold of a leg or something like that, right? Then when like you're in the situation and it happens, right? If I've already thought of every case scenario, then like I'm going to be fine. I'm not gonna freak out. I'm gonna be calm. I'm gonna be, good in the fire, right? Rather than like somebody's just like, I'm gonna win, right? Every single time the thought comes in and out, like, hey, you have a fight next Saturday. What do you think? I'm gonna win. Like, okay, well, how much do you actually believe that? Because there's so many variables that can happen, and then as soon as you get hit, you're like, oh, I didn't think that was gonna happen. Yeah. Dog, what do you mean you didn't think that was gonna happen?
You're gonna fight for your life, bro. Yeah. No, do you think that helps with like the performance anxiety?
Yeah, 1,000%.
Because you're picturing yourself, like, for example, Sprawling the Berg, big crowd.
Yeah.
Tensions are high. You think of it, you're walking out. I think you've already been there.
I think one of and I obviously can't speak for Gavin, but like one of the reasons I think I did well is because I knew Gavin was going to take me down. I was willing to engage with him to the point where I was like, yeah, he'll probably take me down, but like I'm going to threaten a guillotine. I'm going to throw subs off my back. I actually believe in my jiu-jitsu a little bit off my back. Like for a wrestler, that's kind of wild, especially I ain't been doing it that long. And I think I threw up a sub. I had like a guillotine where he was like, oh shit. And he like ejected out on the cage. And I think in his head, he was like, I don't know if I want to go back there, because I don't think he thought that it was even feasible for me to do something like that. And I think after like the cartwheel, he was like, I don't know if I want to shoot again. And in my head, that match went very similar to, I imagined myself ending on top, but it went very, very similar to how I imagined. And I was given a couple opportunities that I didn't finish. Like I thought I could get a high elbow guillotine. I thought I might get a triangle, just off of scouting and stuff. But just looking back, like that's just how I kind of imagined stuff.
You ever heard of OODA loop?
So
in military and law enforcement, the OODA loop, someone's OODA loop is observe, orient, decide, and act. And that happens with everything. So let's say, and I'm in my background, someone's attacking you over here. First thing you want to do is observe it.
Yeah.
Right? You acknowledge it. You see what's happening. Oh shit, he's coming to me. Orient. Turn to them, because you're going to address something. Decide. He's He's coming to bear hug me. I want to sprawl out. That's your decision. Now you do it. Act.
Okay.
So OODA loop is someone's OODA loop is you throw them off. You throw their OODA loop off by fucking cartwheeling.
Yeah.
Like, for example, you're talking about you're picturing this stuff, right? Like if he goes in and shoots on me, this is what I'm gonna do. This is you're manifesting everything. You think of it. Then so in his mind, I'm gonna shoot in. He's gonna probably go for my neck, or he's gonna sprawl, right? And then you fucking cartwheel.
Yeah.
You just threw off his OODA loop, bro.
I knew I was gonna do that. That was one thing I was like, I know I'm gonna get this because he's like really good at that duck under, and I was like, oh, you know what? I'm really fucking good at. I did it to a pan world champ in wrestling, like from Ohio State, actually, like 2 years ago. I'm really good at that cartwheel. I just like can feel the timing on it. But when you talk about that, I have something that I was like telling all my boys to fight to do is we don't touch gloves. And the reason why
I can mess up someone's OODA loop because it's like a normal thing, right?
Yeah. You normally touch gloves is like I control the first thought in your brain. If I look across the cage and I go, you're gonna be like, why the fuck don't he want to touch gloves? I thought we were cool.
Yeah, he hate
What's
me,
going
bro?
on?
Yeah.
And they're like, they're like, right? So I control the first thought in your brain, right? Your first thought is like, the fuck? Right? And then I'm like, if it's chess, like now I'm one step ahead, right? And then, we come out, and usually if somebody doesn't touch gloves, you think they're about to come out hot, right? Sometimes you come out calm. Sometimes you do come out hot, but sometimes you come out calm. Sometimes they're like,
you're a motherfucker, bro.
Yeah, it's just like I think that's one thing, and I've told a couple of my boys to do, and like I've watched them do it, and I'm like that gives me a fucking smirk when I see one of my boys go. I'm like, yeah,
You listen, yeah, but that's a good point. Like it's customary. You come out, boom, you get set, you go to work.
Yeah, and it's
Now
not even like and like you're gonna be cool afterwards. First off, actually the glove touch thing came from the first day I was at practice here. Will was like, don't touch gloves. And I think he was talking about PA AMI fights because 2 fucking minutes. And Will was like, you guys waste like 10 seconds damn near touching gloves.
Yeah, come up, boom, come back, set. Yeah.
And then I watched my debut, which I wasn't under Stout. And I was like, yo, I did waste like 10 seconds. And like, now I only have 1:50. Like 10 seconds of a 2-minute fight, that's a lot.
Think about the last 10 seconds.
Yeah.
You go ham in the last 10 seconds. You hear that.
Yeah, literally wasted 1/12 of the round touching gloves. It's insane.
Dude, the psychology behind fighting is crazy. Like before I started training and stuff, I big UFC fan, big MMA fan. You see them in the ring and you think it's just 2 people in there just out to destroy each other.
Yeah.
So there's strategy, there's game plans, there's contingencies, there's little things like, hey, don't touch gloves because you want to conserve time, you want to kind of mess up their thought process. Like there's so many things that go into training and the back end that you do in this little 2-minute round or 5-minute round.
And it's so authentic. Like you can't. The best and worst thing about combat sports is you put all this time in. You put so much effort in day after day. You sacrifice everything, but it doesn't fucking matter. Because if you don't perform for 6 minutes or however the given amount of time you're given, right, then you fucking lose, right? It doesn't matter. Now, to a certain extent, yes, you want to work hard all the time. You want to do all this stuff, but like if
it doesn't matter in that fight.
It doesn't matter in the fight. Like
in that fight.
Yeah, it matters long term, obviously.
Yes.
It puts you in it makes you a better person for sure. But in the particular fight, like, it doesn't, like, it really doesn't matter. And you hear people who almost self-sabotage, right? You hear about the John Jones of the world, right? Where you're like, he wiling out the weekend before was like, bro, all you have to do is fight for 15 minutes or 25 minutes. Like he doesn't, like, he's just to a certain level in his brain, right? People talk about your skills in the cage, like, yes, he's very, very skilled athlete, right? But like, he's also like super skilled in the psychology department to like where he can just show up and beat you, period.
And that's from years of training and experience of being in that cage and realizing like,
yeah. And it takes experience. It takes all that. But like, if you don't show up mentally or physically, you watch people like Israel Adesanya is one of my favorite fighters. He didn't show up the day he was supposed to fight Sean Strickland. Like, he wasn't mentally engaged. He wasn't whatever, right? They run that fight back. I think Izzy wins probably 8 out of 10 times. They didn't win that day, right? And you just have to mentally be engaged, right? And that's the best and worst thing about fighting is you do everything right, have the best camp of your life, and then just not show up that day, and that's that.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. You do, and then that mental friction can continue, right? You lose after putting in the hardest camp of your life.
Yeah.
Now you're in your head like, man, I was fucking worth it. I lost all this time in camp. Like, why did I even do this? Like, or, hey, I had a bad day.
Yeah.
It was not even a bad day. I had a bad fucking 6 minutes. Can't do that again. Got to change my focus pre-fight. Maybe change what I did this morning, my diet this morning, or did I sleep well enough? Like,
yeah, I saw something.
There's 2 ways to go about it.
I saw something on Instagram. I didn't watch the podcast, but I think it was somebody that wrestled in Michigan. I forget who it was. It might have been Stefan Michik, but it might not be. And it was on Wrestling Changed My Life podcast. I saw a little quote, and it was, just because I worry more does not mean I care more. And that's in terms of fighting, right? If I'm constantly like, dude, what if this happens? What if that happens? What if, like, the what ifs, like, you can't necessarily control. But you can be like, I'm going to go out. I'm going to go as hard as I can for 7 minutes, and it is what it is. And if you can, that's probably my favorite quote. To like, the Muhammad Ali one's good. My favorite quote is, "It is what it is," because that's how, like,
dude, that's mine too. That's where I'm at, dude. Like, it is what it is. You hate me? It is what it is. You love me? Good. I mean, awesome. Yeah. But it is what it is. Like, I got to go to work tomorrow. But if you approach everything like that, like, hey, you got to go train for 2 hours because you got to fight. It is what it is. Got to go train.
That's what Brittany's podcast summed up into a thing. It was like, she was talking about, she's just like,
dude, she's dope as hell, man.
Bro, yeah.
She's fire.
Dude, yeah, she's like one of my like closest friends now. Which has really only happened over like the last like 6-9 months, but like we train together all the time. We're both like on the same track in terms of going pro soon. She's looking for a fight, I'm looking for a fight. And it's just like, she's like just like one of those persons where you're like, you meet people in your life.
We're pretty close.
Yeah. You meet people.
Off a week.
You meet people in your life and you're just like, you know, they just click with you. She's definitely one of those people for me. Her, Mike, and Will are like people that I've met and you're just like, oh, wait, cut from the same cloth. You know what I mean?
And it's rare when you find it, but when you find it, you just know.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. Like, and it more happens with like, I don't want to say like dudes, man. Like,
yeah, for sure.
You can meet a dude, not even know his name. You talk to him for a little bit, and you're like,
yo,
yeah, he about that. We'll be real cool.
Yeah, that's just how it works.
Yeah.
I remember when I came here, I wasn't gonna stay at Stout. I was gonna move. I moved here actually for my for my ex-girlfriend. She got a job, right? We ended up breaking up, and I was in kind of this ultimatum: do I go home? Yeah, I was like, do I go home or do I stay here? And like, I just got. Like, when I met Mike and Will, I was like, oh, this is where I'm supposed to be. Like I'm not super religious, but I do think that, like, the world kind of puts you in the right places at the right times. And I was just like, damn, like, this is where I'm supposed to be. I met Mike, and I was like, me and this dude are hella similar. And I met Will, and, like, the way he would talk and stuff, I was just, like, attracted to it, like in a sense where I was like, I want to, like, I need more. I need more. Like, there's never enough. Like, he always seems like he just has an answer to a thought, right? And if he doesn't have the answer, he'll find it. And I was like those, and on top of that, right, they're good people, which is what matters most, right? And they care about you. And Brittany's also one of those people. And there's tons of people on that fight team where it's just like, you know, you could go like I could go to like a huge camp, right? Like I could honestly probably pull some strings and get into almost any camp in the country. Like I have good management and stuff, but like what matters to me is like being around people that care about me, one, and being around like, you know, good people.
That's honestly, I think that's most important is that support system, bro.
Yeah, for me, 100%, right? And for some people, it's different, right? If you got like, you know, like a ride or die, or you got like in terms of like a wife or whatever, right? Then like maybe you can go to like a camp where you're like, you know, yeah, we fight each other. I go home, I come play with my wife and kids. But for me, it's like this is my family. I got family, obviously, and I love my family. I talk to them weekly, but like I moved my entire life out here, right? Like this is my family. So like, you know, I take what they say to heart and stuff like that. But moving here is probably the best decision staying here is the best decision I ever made.
One thing I do see, and this is coming from the outside, is like how tight that circle is, man. Like
super close.
You guys are so, I don't think I've been to an event where I've seen you guys alone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you guys always travel in packs together.
Yeah.
Like you stand together, sit
walked
together,
out with the whole
walk
fucking
out with
team.
the whole fucking team. Like
that was my
that's
favorite.
Dope,
that was
man.
my favorite part of the whole thing. I talk about like manifesting things and imagine stuff like that. I was like, I'm walking out with the whole fucking thing. I told Hunter, I was like, there's no commission, right? He was like, no. I was like, cool, then I'm walking out with the entire team. Like, and if more people were back, I would have walked out with all of Pittsburgh, right? Because I was like, I'm walking out with my people because like, that match mattered to me a lot. And everybody knew it mattered, but I could see it mattered to other people a little bit too. Because like there was beef, yeah, everybody was invested. So I was like, all right. And I'm gonna be honest, like I had a little bit of self-doubt. Like I wasn't sure how it would go, right? Because I was like, you look at our credentials, like it's hilarious, right? Like he was definitely supposed to beat me on paper, but I was like, you know what would make me get up is if I put every single person I care about back there with me and make them walk out with me. That'll wake me the fuck up.
Dude, win or lose, that team remains.
Yeah, exactly.
And having that like safety net could be that thing that makes you go just that much further. Like, you know what? Look who the fuck's behind me. Like, bro, I'm gonna leave it here because they're picking. Yeah,
you look over and Mike Wilkins ready to do anything. You're like, all right, I'm good.
Dude,
right?
And that's the crazy part. Like, yeah, he was coaching you. Yeah, dude was on that cage ready to jump in if he needed to. Like. And with that behind you,
yeah, bro.
How the fuck can you how can you half-ass a fight?
Yeah,
when you got a team like that.
Yeah, dude.
Willing to provide everything for you.
Yeah, with those dudes in my corner, like I just like, you know, I'm very, very confident. And like that's why like like I'm super close with Mike and Will, and like people like, you know, I don't know what Mike's doing. He might be in Nashville for my Muay Thai fight, but like Mike and Will in my corner. Will was in my corner for both my jiu-jitsu matches. Might not always work out like that. Like they got lives that got kids, or Mike got kids, and Will's got his own life. But it's like I want those two, right? Because I know that like they've been with me to my highest moments right now. So like they know me, they know what I'm thinking, right? I can look at Mike from across the room sometimes. I feel like he just knows what I'm thinking, and I'm just like, that's fucking weird. But like
that's why he's what he is, man.
Yeah, and
he is him.
yeah, and you just like having two people like that, like the ride with you like that, like that matters more than like anything else.
Mike is dope, man. At the sprawl, he like pulls me in, just fucking. I mean, dude's freakishly strong too. I'm strong.
Yeah,
there's not a lot of things I'm cocky about. I know I'm fucking strong because of the work I put in. This dude gripped me up like I was a little fucking boy. Boom! I'm like, yo, yeah. He's like, podcast, man. And I'm like, dude, you don't gotta.
Are you getting him on,
bro?
Yeah.
So Britt's like, oh, I already talked because I want to put Mike on.
Yeah, he needs to get on.
When I was talking to Britt, she's like, so I talked to Mike and like told him I was doing this, and he wants to do it. I'm like,
that's
what?
That's
like, You did my work for me. I'm like, thank you so much.
That's one of those moments where you're like, damn, right? Like you're affirming yourself for so long, and then you're like,
it's the manifesting, bro.
Things begin to happen. You know what I mean? You're like, for real? Like
Mike
I get that opportunity?
Yeah? Like, you fucking with me? I'm gonna go to Mike. You gonna look at me and be like, podcast? Yeah, sure, whatever. Like,
yeah.
She's like, no, he's excited. I'm like, dude, and he's like, dude, I talk a lot though. I'm like, so do I, bro. Like, so do I. Let's talk this shit, bro.
Dude, Mike's like. Sometimes he's a little kid, bro.
Bro,
I love it.
I'm the same way, dude.
I'm the same way
stuff
too.
I'm passionate about, bro. I will go off. Like, I have a little bit of ADHD, and a lot of it. So, like, listening to you talk, I just want to like, because you're saying so many good stuff, dude. And I'm just like, shut up.
In my head, I'm like you'll say something, and I'm like, oh, man, I hope I don't forget to circle back to what I was thinking,
bro. That's why I'm letting you go, and I'm like, oh, that was good. Oh, that was good too. That was good too. But having that team, like, what are your future goals? So you got this. You like, you are pro.
So I'm turning pro. So I went my next MMA fight will be a professional fight. I got some big stuff in the works, like as far as a pro contract I'm working on right now, which I'm super excited about. I can't give all the details.
I'm sure you can't speak on it.
But like one of those things where I was like probably one of the biggest things where I was in like complete awe of like, yo, that's happening. Just like staying positive, like always having a positive mindset. And I do think like you put good energy out into the world, like you get good energy back. And I think that's one of the things that happen in terms of that. But I'm working on, I'll probably be debuting in February, my first pro fight.
Say less. I ain't got nothing going on.
Yeah. And then I'm gonna, so I have this Muay Thai fight. I fight next a week from tomorrow. Yeah.
Be there, be square, losers.
Yep, at the Shrine Center in Pittsburgh. And then Worlds, I'm going to do Blue Belt Worlds, IBJJF. Yeah, in December.
Next year, right? Or this year? This year.
December.
Yeah, you did say that.
Yeah.
What are you doing for fundraising? What is that the T-shirts for?
Yeah.
So what's up about that? I just bought the T-shirt.
So we're actually extending them. Part of the reason I wanted to extend them is because, this podcast, I think, we get a good cutaway and be like,
I'm honored, bro. Yeah.
And like they're selling good.
So walk us through the T-shirt. From like, what is the T-shirt? What's the company?
First off, the company is my boy Miles Robinson, and you'll like this. He's it comes from an expression in wrestling. It's not very non-endearing towards black people, and it's chocolate melts in the third. Basically, like black dudes get tired, right? And that's what Miles's shirt is. He's like, don't melt. He's like, I don't melt, because he's built, stout dude. You know what I mean? Like he's a jack dude, and he's like, I don't melt, right? So his company is called Don't Melt, and I love it.
Self-deprecation.
The logo's fire. It's popsicle, and he came up with this shirt, and I bought it for his fight, and like he's like one of those dudes that like I look up to like a lot. Like he's a super good dad. He's a fighter. He's like 28-ish, has 2 kids, and like I look up to him a lot. And I was like, I don't know if he hit me up or if I hit him up first. I think he hit me up, and I was like, yeah, bro, actually I'm trying to like get money towards Worlds. Let's do a shirt. And he came up with the idea, and I was like, let's do a Pittsburgh theme. So like I like chopped up the thing, and like it's dope. It's the best design I've ever had for a shirt. And like one thing with me is like I want to put my people on. You know what I mean? Like Miles is like I'm really close with. So like, and I've done shirts with other companies where like I'm not like, one, like I don't know if they give me all my money, and 2, like I would rather like the money, like if it's 50-50 down the middle, like I'd rather fit the other 50 go to somebody I care about than like just somebody I don't know. You know what I mean? So like, or I'd rather help put somebody on to like, help build their brand. And like, so those shirts, they're available. There are links in my bio on Instagram. My Instagram handle is Sucas Liebert, SUCASLEIBERT.
Tricky.
Yeah. And the links in the bio for those, they're $35 plus shipping. I'm gonna get like some extras, and if you guys are at Stout or in the Pittsburgh area, I'm gonna have some I can just kind of
I
save some
ordered
money
one,
on shipping.
so you better order one too.
Yeah.
I'm the same way, dude. I'm trying to put everybody
Yeah,
in my
like
circle
this,
up,
man. Like you're like trying to like, hey, like Luke is building a man career, trying to promote himself.
yeah,
you're trying to
let's
make a podcast.
get on, bro.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
we helping each other.
yeah, it's mutually beneficial, and in reality, like the sad, like that's kind of what relationships are. Like when you meet people, it's like how like you're mutually like helping each other.
It's all about intention,
right?
Like
Yeah,
my intention of this is, bro, how can I build people up who are doing stuff? You know, like because I could put someone on here and we can just look at each other for an hour,
yeah,
and like nothing is gained. Or I can be like, yo, like you have obviously proven you're pushing yourself. You're trying to break into stuff. Same with Britt. Same with everyone I've put on here. Like you guys have showed relentlessness, perseverance, like, and it just happens to be in MMA. But like those, even in MMA, people can pull. You know how many people have reached out to me who don't train, don't do anything about this, and they're like, yo, like. That girl you had on the podcast, oh my gosh, like
that's sick.
she pushed me to I'm gonna start going to the gym.
That's what it is, dude.
It's like
it's all about inspiring.
You're not fighting.
Yeah.
You're not MMA. This helped you go to the gym to like help you with something. Like that's awesome.
Yeah, bro. That's like ultimately what the goal is, right?
That's it.
It's like what's your goal? Would be like to like inspire some kid that like didn't have the success, he didn't have the high school accolades, to be like, yo, don't matter, right?
Yeah.
It don't matter. And that's one reason, like circling all the way back to the Gavin match, is like, that was like me proving to myself, like, yo, you're somebody now. You always were somebody, but now you believe it, right? You got that like you've built it.
You want to
right?
talk about circling back? You botched wrestling when you were younger, right?
Yeah.
And you just took on one of the best wrestlers.
Yeah, and like that's why that moment mattered so much to me, right? It was a grappling match, right? But it mattered to me because like in my head, like that's a giant, right? And I slayed him, and like that's something.
Yeah, and,
like,
and shout out to Gavin. Like he was
Bro,
very poised in that. Like,
yeah, dude, and Gavin's a fucking ultra competitor, right?
Yeah.
And I hope he has a fantastic career. Well, me and Gavin we'll probably end up training together at some point. And I hope Gavin has a fantastic career. He probably will, because he's done the same thing, right? He's put himself in the fire constantly. He's done all the, things. He has the affirmations. He believes in himself. So like you put two people that believe in themselves, they're gonna meet in the middle of the cage and square off.
Yeah. You know how steel is shaped? The hardest steel?
Nah.
You throw it in fire, you take it out, and you fucking beat it and beat it and beat it and beat it. Then you throw it back in the fire.
Yeah.
Then you take it out and you beat it and beat it. And you repeat this process. And in repeating this process of throwing it in the fire and then beating it, throwing it in the fire, beating it, you create this hardened steel. That's what the swords are made of, like the Japanese swords. And the toughest steel is made from constantly putting in the fire and constantly beating it.
That's sick.
That's literally what happened in that match. Two fucking
people have been through the shit.
Steel sharpens steel. Iron sharpens iron. Iron sharpens iron. Like you two just went at it, man. And at the end, you two came out better.
Yeah, for sure.
In every aspect.
And in every aspect. Like we grew. Like we both like, that's one thing. When I texted him, I was like, I feel like we both could have done better in the match. I feel like we both could have done better after the match. And we both learned lessons like that. I learned a lesson, like how to be a little bit more composed, right? After, right? Because I'm good at being composed during and before. Sometimes after I'm like,
you're riding the high.
Yeah, you're riding the high, right? And like that emotion's there for a reason, right? And you should allow yourself to do it. But like that was one thing. It was like, all right, well, I'll keep noted, right? You know what I mean? It's
all a learning process, bro. Life is a learning process, man. If you have it figured out, please jump on this podcast, because there's millions of people who can benefit from it if you got it all figured out. But none of us got it figured out.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
You
you should find that dude.
Yeah, I'm looking for you.
Could be a girl.
Yeah, could be a girl. We're looking for you, man. If you got it figured out, jump on.
Yeah,
we all can use it.
Yeah.
Dude, life is a learning process, man. And so long as you're consistently striving to move forward, you can't knock someone, man. Like, we're all going to fail. We're all going to fall sometimes. We're all going to exhibit a behavior that is not in agreement with everyone, and everyone's so quick to camp. Oh, look at him. Look what he did. Look what he did. Look, it's like, what did you
bro,
do?
You judge,
Like, where are you coming from?
Judge from the outside. You can't even get in, dog.
Dude, don't throw stones in a glass house. That's the saying. Like, you know, like, dude, we're all striving to be great, man. I appreciate you for jumping on. What can you leave everyone with? If you had to, like, someone trying to be in your shoes, hey, someone listening, this kid listening, like, man, Lucas was on there. I want to be like Lucas. Like, what are you telling this kid?
Just keep going, bro. Just keep going.
Just
you know
keep
what I mean?
swimming. Just keep swimming.
Be relentless. Be relentless.
Dude, y'all keep plugging me like Britt did it. You did it. I didn't pay him to do this. Be relentless, bro.
Be relentless.
Don't stop. Can't stop.
Yep.
Bro, I appreciate you for jumping on, man. It means the world to me. I'm so excited. I wish I could post these. I'm trying to, like, every Sunday a post. Dude, when I film, every conversation has gotten better. Not knocking my previous conversations.
You're getting better at it.
We'll go with that. I think it's just people are feeding off each other, listening to the previous ones, and like, dude, every conversation's getting better. Dude, nothing against my previous Brits episode. Blew everyone out of the water.
It was fire. I love the Brits episode.
And then the last guy I had, Bernardo, dude, he's like already catching up with Brit. And I'm like,
Dempsey was good too.
Dude, Dempsey's good. Yeah. Roll back. My buddy just had a fight, 28th, pro boxer. He's 3-0 with 3 knockouts now, by the way. Just plug to Devin Siegfried. Yeah. He was my first guest on. Appreciate that. I love that dude so much, man. Good dude. He got hit in the first round. He does this thing where he likes to feel the person. Like, I'm like, dude,
fuck that.
All it takes is one fucking hit. You know what I mean? One hit, and that, like, well, he likes to feel it, right? So he knows what he's dealing with. Well, he felt it, and like, he was so hard on himself. He's like, dude, that fucking first round, like, my legs wobbled. Like, my legs wobbled, bro. I'm like, dude, yeah. I mean, you're
in a fist fight.
You're in a fist fight, bro. Like, you're gonna get hit. You'd be delirious to think you're not gonna get hit and you're not gonna be hurt. So he's hard on himself, dude. My buddy DJ comes up to him. He's like, bro, like, but you stuck in there. Da, da, da. Like, did you hear Dempsey's episode? 1,000 wins. You need 1,000 wins that no one can see before you get. I'm like, this dude just.
You doing something.
Yeah, like, he quoted my podcast.
Bro.
I mean, he quoted Dempsey, but he quoted my podcast, bro. Yeah. Look, the lights come on. That means it's time to go. That's perfect. But I want to leave you guys with that, man. It takes 1,000 wins, bro. Yeah. You're doing so many things behind the scenes that no one knows, no one sees. But when you go in the ring, everyone sees that fucking big win, that big end goal you're going for. So best of luck to you. I appreciate you for jumping on, bro. It's the one with Lucas Seibert.
Thank you, guys.
Later.
You've been listening to The Relentless Project. Ish Lopez grew up in the heart of the inner city, but he managed to build multiple income streams, join the ranks of law enforcement, and dive into countless ventures, all thanks to the incredible relationships he forged along the way. And now his passion is to share those stories with you. Make sure to connect with us on social media. Find Ish on Twitter and Instagram at The Ish Lopez, and the show at Relentless PRJCT. We're on all the major streaming platforms, from Spotify to Apple Podcast and Google Podcast, and wherever you like to catch your favorite shows. See you next time on The Relentless Project.